Angela Rosov. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every follower that I have. Today, I want to talk a little bit about your energy, how to hone your energy, how to begin a new way of engaging with yourself. So, energy comes off as sort of a woo-woo topic. I know not everyone believes in it or thinks it's true, but I'm here to tell you something. It is absolutely true. There's nothing to argue about there. Whenever we think about like the most recent presidential campaign, energy of the candidates struck chord with their followers. It wasn't really their agenda. It wasn't really what they're talking about. It was the energy of the person that attracted most people, whether it was you or not. That was what happened. The energy of the person. Confidence can take you so far. So, energetics of who you are. These are concepts that are esoteric in nature, right? So, let me just introduce myself. My name is Angela Rosoff. I am a yoga instructor, face yoga teacher, Ayurvedic practitioner, and a lifestyle coach. And I help people hone their energy. That's really the biggest thing that I do. And one of the things that I notice this time of year, I live in California, so it's warm where I am right now, and that's why I'm like this. But one of the things that I notice at this time of year is some of my clients, they get anxiety around the holidays, and they want some tips and tricks on what they can do with their face to bring a little more positive energy to their experience in a setting of a party or family event or what have you. So let me just tell you this. Doing the work ahead of time is very helpful to be able to understand yourself and understand that you might have anxiety around socializing, or you might be triggered by someone and what they say. All of that is in your wheelhouse to reorganizing your mind ahead of time and show up a little differently to these parties. And one of the things that I want to invite you to do is to think about a growth mindset before you start going into face yoga or like trying to lose weight and that kind of stuff to be social. Get your mind engaged here, because that is the biggest factor around anxiety, is calming the mind. And we can do that somatically with exercise, movement, yoga, face yoga. We can do that with meditation, reorganizing our energy in our body. But the somatic activities of calming our energy is really going to do a lot for creating a healthy mindset of growth and expansion, that you can walk into a family gathering or a party and really feel like yourself. There's nothing like that magnetic quality of a person who can really hold court in a social setting by telling a fabulous story or a yarn about something that was from the past. I come from the South, and there's an old saying, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. And whether you believe that or not, there is something to a person who can tell a really great story, weave a story together in a way that is funny, enchanting, informational, or whatever. But the thing that I want to impart upon you is the energy that you share by telling that story can be that of openness, safety, having a safe space. It can be that of challenge, if that's your prerogative. A lot of people like to challenge others in a friendly way. And whatever it is that you want to bring into a social experience within your energetic state, I invite you to think about it ahead of time. Or let me take off my glasses here for a second. For example, if I'm going to a party, I typically don't really think about this stuff anymore. I have a lot of confidence and I don't really pre pre-prepare things that I'm going to do before I go visit with people or I do a lot of things. I read a lot. I do a lot of personal development. I'm always in some kind of a training of some kind. I always have something going. So I naturally have a lot to talk about and can sort of bridge off of whatever other people are talking about because I'm keeping up with things. But I wasn't always like this. This isn't my standard for my whole life. It is now. I just live this way. But for my whole life, I have had times where I had lower confidence and I was triggered by people and things that they would say. They could say, certain topic and I would shut down. And that would create an experience where I started to get anxiety around being around them if I knew they were going to be there. And then I'd spend some time in my head preparing for that. And that is a lot. It's a lot for people to deal with, in a mindset fashion. So my suggestion is for you, like if you are in that anticipatory mode, like, oh, I'm going to this party and that person's going to be there and I don't want to talk to them and I just don't want to talk. I want to invite you to think about something to just do a little bit of a self analysis here. If you are having that kind of anxiety and anticipatory feelings about socializing with people, or maybe it's around a job interview, maybe it's, a little more deeper tied to your livelihood or something like that, then take the time to do a little homework on yourself. What are these triggers that are coming up in your mind? Is it about an old way of being that you had and you really don't want to think about that anymore? Is it about an old argument that you had with this person who may trigger you? Or they behave the way you had an old argument with another person? Like it can be that convoluted. And think about these things. Just take a little stock. And you can do it with this video here. Like just take a little stock in your mind of whatever that thing is. Feel that state of feeling if you want to do the work now or do it later. And take the time that you need to deal with this issue. Whatever it is, you need to overcome it. You need to do the work so you're not triggered anymore. You need to fully look at it in different facets and deal with it. And sometimes that means working with a counselor, working with a therapist, working with a life coach, a lifestyle coach, and connect more deeply with your feelings around it. Because you want to wrap up whatever that was. If it's from the past, you're ready to leave it there. You don't need to live with it today. We don't need to live with our memories on our sleeves. We don't need to do that anymore. We need to evolve on to who we're meant to be. We need to evolve as a person throughout our life. We don't need to stop. There's nothing more upsetting than seeing someone who's still living in the past with an old resentment that they're harboring. They're pulling it out, curating it to the present day to define who they are. There's nothing sadder because we don't have to live like that These are choices that we make. So you can choose to work through these problems. If it's not in your resources to have a therapist or a counselor, then you can bootstrap it and do it just like this. Sometimes I personally have found the things that I went through, the trauma that I went through, in all honesty, it really required me not only to work with therapists, not only to work with a counselor, but to do somatic work. For me, it required acupuncture, it required yoga, meditation, dancing, walking, exercising, doing face yoga, and doing personal development work. It required all of that for me to move on from past traumas. And it might require that of you too. Whatever it is, you're deserving of the work, you're deserving of the investment of time, and you can do a lot of this stuff in your own time. In energetics, with the energy that I started off this conversation with, it is required to do somatic work. If we're talking about really honing your energy, somatic work is deeply important. So somatic, I mean movement, I mean working with the subtle body. Um, so that includes face yoga, yoga, meditation. It includes like working within your home space to organize your lifestyle, to create a space that supports you and nurtures you so you can blossom and evolve out of old ways of being. So those are things that you can think about to organize yourself if you are triggered. You can start doing this work now, and it can take a long time, but it can go really fast once you get started, and then you can evolve into who you're meant to be, who you're meant to um, have, like people in your life. So that's what I wanted to share today. If you need help with this, I have a wonderful subscription on Substack. You can go to substack.beautifyinsight.com, something like that. I'll put the link down below in the show notes. I just want to thank you for being here. You're welcome into the subscription. We cover mindset, movement, nourishment, and integration. Mindset, movement, nourishment, face yoga, and integration. We can do all of it 5 a week. They're given about every week. They're sent every other day. So you get something every other day to keep you going and thinking and reviving yourself into an evolution. A Beautify evolution. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste. Namaste. Bye.